Welcome back to Boss It Up Media. We're so excited that you're joining us for another show. We have something spectacular planned for you today. Before we get into it, I just want to introduce myself again. I'm Dawn Acevedo, one of your hosts. I have here a partner in crime, Lisa Garcia, and an official announcement that Joe Crease, who you've seen on our show previously, has now joined us as an official host. So you'll be seeing a lot more of her beautiful face. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here with you guys.
We're so happy to have you. Yes. Boss it up.
And just an official, just to tell Ralph, I know you're out there, you're celebrating your birthday and your holidays. We miss you in the studio, but we'll see you on our next show as
Meanwhile,
well.
we're here in the cold.
And that's a great birthday
He's in the
gift,
heat.
right?
He's in the heat.
Yeah.
You know, love
Send
it.
us some sun, please.
Absolutely.
Just some, we want to make sure that you're always following our social media before we get into our show. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Boss It Up Media. Please follow us on YouTube as well. And please subscribe so that you can make sure that you stay up to date on all of our content. Okay, we have like I said, spectacular show for you today. We have a special guest. We have Jules Mella, who is not only a fabulous individual, entrepreneur, boss in life, but she's a great friend, and we're just super excited to have her on and just learn what has led you down the path of success to where you're at today. Before we get into a couple of questions, I also want to make a special thank you to our sponsor, Kaplan, DiGiappani and Farrier. Thank you for always supporting us. If anybody needs a real estate attorney or a lender's attorney or a corporate counsel attorney, please make sure to reach out to me, and I'll connect you with them. They're fabulous, and thank you for your support, truly. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Joe Crease to get some questions and get the conversation started.
Yes. Well, the good news is that you guys have an amazing relationship with Jules, but this is maybe like the second time we've met. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So I have a ton of questions for you.
Well, better you than me, because as the bestie, it might go left.
That's funny. So entrepreneur, correct?
Yes.
How long have you been an entrepreneur for?
A little bit over, I think in total, almost 20 years.
Awesome. What inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Besides knowing that I was always destined to be a boss, being bossy. So I think just wanting, it's the American dream. Who doesn't want to own their own business? Be able to inspire other women to do the same. Being a Latina single mother, I wanted to always do more. My goal was to do more and be proud of myself, and also have my son be very proud of me. Excuse my raspy voice. I've been sick for a couple of days. But,
We appreciate you being here. You sound super sexy, so it's coming through as sexy.
And that's going to be a benefit, hopefully.
Yeah, the sassy voice.
Why don't you give us a little introduction of the business that you own and who you are?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Jules Mella. I'm of Dominican descent. Was born in the U.S. From Dominican parents, and which I simply adore. I started my entrepreneurship as Lisa's partner. We dove headfirst, no experience whatsoever, into the restaurant industry. And for all my restaurateurs out there, I have the utmost respect for you, because it is the most difficult business to go into. But, we're very daring. I think the fact that we are both faith-based, God's always got us. It was the first step for us to learn, make lots of mistakes and learn from them. And in those mistakes came a lot of lessons, and with the lessons came the wins. And so, unfortunately, due to the crash of '08, we had to close down our business. But I think for the most part, we learned so much on how to get a business started and to sustain it. Part of me feels like, it wasn't our fault, that the business didn't continue. People were going through a really difficult time.
That was a rough time.
It was a really rough time. And so,
I really have to say, until now, I could run into people in Forest Hills and they'll be like, I miss your soups, I miss your paninis, I miss your salad. In that area, there isn't anything like it. So they miss us.
They do. And so that's another reason why I feel like, chic and green will always be in the back of our minds of something that we would want to continue, we would do again. Excuse me. Because it was a business that people love. People love coming in. If everyone knows my best friend, she is the most personable person in the world. So people...
The queen of networking.
Yeah, I call her a serial networker.
The serial networker.
Here.
Yeah, so it was a business. It's a business that I think I would definitely consider again. So fast forward a couple of years after that. I'm so sorry, excuse me. I wanted to dive into entrepreneurship again.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the business that you guys had while she catches her break?
Okay. So it was a salad bar, and we were based out of Forest Hills. It was actually a very beautiful salad bar. It was teal with pretty chandeliers. Let me stop. It was just so pretty. I really have to say it was really pretty. With the best soups and panini. So it was just a really cute spot in the neighborhood. It was a perfect neighborhood for it. There's a lot of gyms in that area. So we were a little off like the busy streets. So it was a little hard to find us, unfortunately. But
so were you guys like hands-on? Like were you making the soups,
Oh, yes.
making the salads? Did you?
so the funny thing is that we ended up like having someone we hired helped us put the menu together. He would come and do all the prepping and everything. But then, boom, he was young and he would get drunk. And he would come into work.
You had to step in.
Thank God that we watched everything he did, and we would come in really early in the morning and set everything up. And I'm talking about 6 a.m. Julie's probably at the store buying all the lettuce and everything at the restaurant depot, chopping up lettuce and everything, and we're
Doing the
putting
meal prep.
all the meal prep, and we're getting everything together. I mean, we're like 6 a.m. to like 8 o'clock at night, because then we leave the place spotless as well. So we're cleaning and doing what we have to do to make it work.
And you know what? That's so important for a lot of people. A lot of people don't realize when you own a business, not only do you have to know how to run the business, but you have to know how to work the business too.
Absolutely.
Because if you lose someone, like business shouldn't stop. You have to be able to jump into any role.
Yeah.
You got to be the
Exactly.
janitor, the greeter,
Yep.
the cook, whatever the case might be. So
Yeah, we had to do it all, and I think that was the best stepping stone, because you realize as an entrepreneur, you will be wearing many hats. It's not just, I'm the CEO. That hat does not go on immediately. It really doesn't. And in the beginning, you feel like, you have your own business. It's all like this luxurious life, and it's not. It's very difficult in the beginning. You've got to have a good team in place, be very knowledgeable, ask a lot of questions, and don't be afraid to do so, because there's people out there that would want to help. And it'll save you lots of money and lots of stresses. I've learned that in my second business, because I went through what I went through with the restaurant. Starting the second business became that much easier. I knew where now, I didn't need to pay to create my own LLC. I can do that myself. There was a lot of things that I learned during the first, a lot of mistakes that I made during the first business that I was able to apply to the second one, and was able to be more successful the second time around. So
How do you see the difference in, opening up the restaurant compared to opening up a beauty?
again, like I said in the beginning, everyone that owns a restaurant, I bow down to you. It is not easy. It is not, you don't. I think the difference is I'm in the beauty industry. I own a lash studio called She Winks in Manhattan. We've been in business for almost 10 years. This year will actually be our 10th birthday.
Woo!
Oh, congratulations. That's a big
you.
milestone.
Mm-hmm.
And during COVID, and we can dive into that a little bit later on, I decided to take advantage of the low rents that the landlords were offering. And I started my second business, which is a Medi Spa in Woodbury. Again, excuse my raspy voice and my coughing.
I love it.
But yeah, I think the difference is that in the restaurant business, it's never shut down. If your refrigerator breaks down in the middle of the night, that is a huge problem because now you have to set an alarm system for this refrigerator because if it breaks down and it goes off, all your food is spoiled. Now you have to start fresh. So for me, the restaurant industry is a 24/7 job. The beauty industry, we open at 10 a.m. You pray that your technicians, your estheticians all show up on time so that they're able to perform the services on your clients. Point taken from Dawn, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the business itself, you are at your employees' mercy.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing to think about. When I went into the beauty industry, I didn't know how to apply lashes. And so at that time, my business partner and I decided we need to take a course. We need to take take a class to learn how to do this because we will be at their mercy. And you never want to be at someone's mercy. When Lisa and I had the restaurant, and this very young chef, a very irresponsible young chef, decided not to come in one morning, and not even call. Lisa and I would have to leap out of bed. And at that time, I still had a 9 to 5. So the restaurant was being run by Lisa most of the time and the chef. And I had my 9 to 5 at that point. I also was laid off due to the crash of 08. And then I was able to, partake more in the day-to-day activities. And it was not easy. And so, again, the restaurant industry is very different. I open now at 10 a.m. and I'm closed by 7. You don't worry about anything breaking down or shutting down. The biggest worry is, you put certain procedures and policies in place so that if your clients don't show up, unfortunately, they have to pay a fee.
Right.
A cancellation fee.
But how crazy is it from that time then to now between social media, marketing? We didn't have any of that. None of that.
Even the silliest, the
Crazy.
simplest thing as I think about opening up this restaurant again, and this is one of the reasons why. Social media, Twitter. You tweet where you're at, what you're doing. Social media, same thing, live videos. And we didn't have Uber Eats. We didn't have DoorDash.
Yep.
So we had to pay so much money to a delivery company. Even if you didn't have a delivery that day, you still had to pay them. So it was like somebody was sitting, it's a waste of money.
So different now.
But that's
Very
the power of industry disruptors, right?
Absolutely.
So for example, the Ubers, the Starbucks, things like that. How technology is a big component of those changes.
Absolutely.
And I want to harp on something that you had said, having your 9 to 5 and being in business with your friends, right? So how did that relationship shift? Did it shift? Did you guys have to have boundaries and know when you guys were friends and when you guys were business partners?
I think we were always friends. However, there were conflicts because I'm sure there were days that she must have felt like, I'm here all day and, she's at work and I had a steady paycheck and she didn't. So I'm sure that there was times that she resented that part of the business. And we did go into the agreement saying I'm not going to quit my job. But we also weren't where we needed to be so that she had a salary. So I'm sure she felt a certain type of way many times. I'm sure the days that I needed to take off that she would have wanted to take off was going to be a problem. It's hard because, you don't ever want to feel like you're not working enough or you're not doing enough. And so finding that perfect balance is difficult. It will eventually happen, but it doesn't happen right away.
Absolutely.
And I have to thank Charlene for always getting out of bed and helping me out when I needed the extra help. Our backup, yes.
I can see that.
And that's the good thing about family and support. You have friends and family that support you, so make sure you cherish those people that are in your life.
And in
that do
true
that.
friendships, I think that I don't think she ever felt, I hope she never felt that I was doing this on purpose, because of course that wasn't my intention. But again, and also knowing your balance. Some people are more physical. Other people are somebody's the brain behind the operation, the brain, the bank, and the other one is a physical. So having that balance. And I think in any business aspect, there's people that are just like back office and there's the front office people. And so knowing where your position is within the company is really important as well.
Very important.
Yeah.
And we're here, and we're still here today.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We're
Best
still
of friends.
here.
And best of
and we've launched another company.
That's a great topic, but before we get into that, let's take a break. Let's hear some great music. DJ, can you take us on a break? And then we're going to dive into the new business when we come back. Thank you.
¡Wow! ¡Qué programación más rica! Por acá, por Latino Mixx.
Welcome back to Boss It Up Media. We're having such a great time here with our guest, Jules Mella. Let's get right back to where we were. So tell us about the new venture.
So the new venture is because a group of friends of mine and I, we love everything aesthetically pleasing and anything. I'm a visual person, and I think we have this amazing team of women. So we decided that because we want to make everything beautiful around us, we decided to start a design firm. So we are doing design and event planning, and the name of our company is called the Luxury Affairs Group, and these are my business partners, Dawn and Lisa.
Congratulations.
We also have 2 more business partners. They're not with us today, but Renata and Kenya are also also business partners of ours. We're a group of 5 women, very strong-minded individuals that have this amazing respect for each other and our vision. And because we want to work together, number one, support one another, it was a perfect decision to start this new company, this new venture together.
And like join forces. I feel like
Absolutely.
we all bring individually so much to the table.
So much talent to the table.
And collectively, like, wow.
Yes.
Really.
There's
Totally
so much
agree.
power in uniting, and there's power in numbers. So
Absolutely.
that's a beautiful thing, that instead of the notion of women unempowering each other,
Right.
you guys lift each other up, and obviously want to do and monetize off of that.
I
Which
feel
is
like
amazing.
before, like years ago, being a boss, people just thought, oh, I have this by myself, so I'm a boss. But being a boss, it doesn't mean that you're doing it on your own. Being a boss
quite
is
the
just being
contrary.
able to work with others to make something bigger. So that's the beautiful part about it, and that's why Luxury Affairs Group is going to succeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think even going back to what you said before is, it's important to identify everybody's strengths and weaknesses. Because we all
Absolutely.
have strengths and weaknesses.
And boy, do I have weakness.
And
But thanks to them, I'm strong. But this is what I'm talking about.
Because we're stronger,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
stronger in
Yeah.
numbers, we're better together.
Yes.
I feel like the second time around, becoming an entrepreneur and giving myself that grace, that time to figure out what it was I wanted to do, I still went back to corporate America because it was always my safety net. What I did it very well. I made really great money. So it always made sense to go back to my safety net. But it was always in me to want to do more. And so I feel like you don't just have to you don't just have to be the CEO to one company. I think there's so many multiple streams of income that you can leverage off of, and one thing will connect you to the other.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, they're in real estate. They're going to meet a ton of people. They're going to send clients over to
Right.
me. I'm going to send clients to them. So I think all of it just kind of like connects, and we're able to, again, be stronger together, create beautiful events for our clients and for each other, and continue to empower one another, continue to help each other grow. Where I find that she may be weak, I'm not going to emphasize that weakness. I'm going to teach her my strength. And see how much she learns of it. She doesn't have to be at my level. No one has to be at each other's level. Like, I feel like, that to me is a misconception. In order for us to succeed, I think our level of expertise should have the ups and downs, sort of like a balance, because one person doesn't know it all.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, like, even with the Luxury Affairs Group, and just to plug, if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's the Luxury Affairs Group. Please follow us because we're just beginning our launch. There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be in store. But I think, exactly to what you're saying, like, you and Lisa have this amazing talent of being able to put colors together and visualize, how they come together and the design aspect. I do not. I try. Maybe I'll come up with something here and there. Very rare. But like my strength is the organization part of it. Keeping everybody organized, negotiating contracts, like the back end stuff. That's my comfort level. I mean, look, I'll go out and I'll help put balloons up and do whatever we got to do, because everybody helps each other. We are
Absolutely.
a team. But we have, I feel like, in a very productive way, identified our strengths and our weaknesses. And
Absolutely. I agree with that. Recently, I prepared, I worked on a very small event, and it was, a personal favor to a friend, so I kind of did it on my own. And then I realized I can't do this by myself. So I called Lisa, I'm like, I need for you to partner up with me on this project. And of course, Lisa never says no. So she said yes. And I remember at one point I was like pulling my hairs out because I'm like, I can't call vendors and, get this person to make this payment and this. And she would say, do you want to call Dawn? Do you want to call Dawn? Because we know that is Dawn's strength, where no one should do it all alone. And I think that is knowing when you need the help. That to me is a level of bossing it up, because you trying to be a hoarder of information or of trying to do it all, you're going to fail. You should be able to say, hey, this is not my strength. I need help. Let me go, get the help I need so that this can be a successful event. And I think I didn't even enjoy that event as much as I would have wanted to if I would have had Dawn there, because she would have taken a lot of my stresses away, which would have allowed me to be more creative with the vision of the event. So knowing that and learning those things, and again, I could be in business for 10 years, 20 years. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to learn, and we're going to learn from each other and be able to, I love the fact that I know that they are my crutch. I can say it. I need crutches.
But that's a great point, because what you're saying is it wasn't a lost opportunity, it was a lesson learned, so that now you know how to build upon that, right?
Absolutely.
So even that experience came from another experience and another experience, right? So from your first business, right? Talk about that journey, right? How you gave yourself grace, learned from that one experience, and what made you bold enough to actually say, you know what, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to try this business venture.
I think in the back of my mind, I always knew that I would be an entrepreneur, again, at some level, some capacity, or some industry. I just wasn't sure. And so my story with She Winks is a very personal one, because it started with a dream. In my dream, God came to me and told me that this is what I was supposed to be doing next. And when God makes you uncomfortable, and I was feeling very uncomfortable and uneasy in the role that I was in back in corporate, I knew that there was I was wrestling with something in my mind. And sure enough, I was living in Dallas at the time. I came to New York, and I went to go get my lashes done. Although I lived in Dallas, and Dallas provided all of these services, I loved the way things are done in New York. Very different. It's what I'm used to. It's what I loved. Come back home one weekend, I'm getting my lashes done. I'm sitting there waiting, and my lash technician was running late. And I thought to myself, if I ran this business, I would have champagne and wine or coffee station, better magazines, because at that time, those magazines still around.
Don't age us. Don't age us.
Exactly. So I remember thinking to myself how I would make this business better. And that was always my mind. How can I make this better? How can I make, even looking at a person, I'm like, oh, I can, tweak her hair. I can do this. That's how my mind works. I'm a visual person, and I want to take things to the next level.
You're very creative as well, because just hearing you say that, you wanted to cultivate the customer experience.
Absolutely. I wanted to be about the experience, because we were going into this more experience level lifestyle. Everything was about, I went to this restaurant, it was about the experience. The food could possibly suck, but how you were meant to feel when you walked through the door was very important. And like a lot of people say, the food may not be great here, but my comfort level and how I was made to feel so incredibly special, empowered, loved, catered to, that alone will have that return customers.
Such a good tip right there.
And-
Paying attention, pay
yes.
attention to that. The experience speaks
Absolutely.
volumes.
And the experience is amazing because when you walk into both of the locations, they're both gorgeous.
Absolutely.
You feel amazing. And I, unfortunately, started getting anxiety. I can't close my eyes anymore. I feel like I can't breathe. They're telling me to close my eyes and, so they could do the lashes. And I can't do it anywhere else but She Wings. Now, I could only go to She Wings because Natalia knows me and she will start talking to me. And then we know each other already. So the conversation helps till I fall asleep. And she knows what I'm going through.
She knows how to relax
Yes.
her. She's very understanding of Lisa's, mindset at that moment. That by the time she parks her car, her heart is racing.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is for your client to sit there and be feeling that way. So, I think with any industry, so like with bartenders, that's your therapist, your hairstylist. You tell them
Absolutely.
everything. And so knowing how to manage her anxiety, manage what she was going through, and calming her in a way that she was able to be successful in applying the lashes
Yes.
to Lisa, and Lisa having the best lash nap of her life was, it's key. And it's something that I wanted to instill in my technicians and my, estheticians, that the customer, there's that saying, customers are always right. Although I don't always agree with that.
As a customer.
You always want their experience to be right.
It's the emotional intelligence, right?
And also knowing, when they're walking through the door, we hear this so much more now because we are living in a very overexposed society where you're learning so much more about what people are going through behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always saying, no, you should be kinder, more gentle to people because you just never know what they're going through.
That's true.
So I think as someone that's providing a service to a client, I don't know what she experienced that morning. I don't know if she was,
Right.
God forbid, she was in traffic, the stress of that alone, anything that person could have been going through. When they walk through the door, I want them to forget all of those issues. I want them to forget that all of those problems are happening in their lives and that, we're here to make you even more beautiful than you already are.
And I have to add another amazing thing is that they're dog friendly. So I take
We
I
are
take my baby and she just lays there. She falls asleep with me. So
I feel like every
they're so
business should be
sweet.
dog
They
friendly
should
at
all
this
be
point.
dog friendly. Absolutely, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So that's important too.
Yeah.
Aside from you having anxiety and them being able to take care of you. So guys, if anyone has anxiety, you're scared of doing your lashes, please reach out to She Wings. They will take care of you. I promise.
Yes, definitely. And you're going to, at the end of the show, share your information, your
Yes,
contact
absolutely.
information, how they can get in touch with you. We're going to run to another break right now, listen to the great DJ music while we take this break, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up.
¡Wow! ¡Qué programación más rica! Por acá, por Latino Mix.
Welcome back to Boss It Up Media. We're having so much fun in the studio with Jules, our special guest today. Before we get back into the show, though, we want to take a little moment, and we just celebrated New Year's, and we just want to cheers
Cheers.
to everybody here, say a thank you
Cheers.
to
Salud.
Latino Mixx
Happy
for
New
their
Year.
Happy New
their
Year.
great production behind the scenes. We thank you guys tremendously. And just a special shout out to Charlene, who we are cheersing. Is
Yeah.
that a word? Cheersing? We are cheersing. It's not, I'm making it right now, but we are cheersing to Charlene's Coquito.
Yes.
So
Amazing.
So good.
if you haven't had it and haven't tried it, please reach out to us and we will connect you because it's probably the best coquito I've ever had in life, and it's Lisa's sister. So we definitely get it fresh and
Yes.
straight right after she makes it, and it's the most delicious coquito. Okay, now let's get back to focus. All right, Joe Crease, go ahead. You got another question.
So I loved, big ups to Natalia, in regards to that customer experience. So what do you look for in regards to empowering your employees, or what type of employees are you looking for to represent your brand in She Wings?
Well, I think I want them to also have a bit of a CEO mentality.
Love that.
You want to always empower your employees to feel like they have ownership of the business as well. Because I can't run this business by myself. I would want them to feel like it's also their baby, so that they can take care of it, so they can love it as much as I do. And you have to lead by example. I'm sure that when Natalia first came to work, she didn't think she was going to be, therapist and, be hand holding anyone or being someone's punching bag some days, because like, again, I said, people come off the streets, they have a chip on their shoulder, and it's not your job to remove that chip, but I think it is our responsibility as human beings, as good people, to help that person change their mindset or change their day. Just a little something that you can say to someone will go a long way. The way you greet someone is so important. Make them feel special. Make them feel that they matter.
And those lashes make you feel very special. I'm just saying.
And you know what? It's something so important that you touched upon too. And a special thank you to all of our service workers in every industry, because I don't ever think it's appropriate or correct to ever mistreat someone or to be rude to anybody that's in the service industry. Even if you're having a bad day, you really need to shut that off and treat everybody with kindness and respect. Right. But that's not the way it always goes.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that. So it is, I think, a very important thing for your employees and the people that are working with you and for you to understand that they're going to come across different personalities, and they're going to have to know how to navigate that correctly to well represent your business and your brand.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of these things also come with experience, maturity, developing a thick skin. Because you're working with the public. Whether I developed the thick skin because I was in corporate for so many years, you had no other choice than to develop this thick skin and realize that, your boss is going to come in there and he's going to be pissed off. It's not about you. It's about what's going on in his world and how, what happened before he walked through that door. The responsibilities that are the weight on people's shoulders could be so much bigger than yours. Very true. I think that, we again, I go back to just being human, being like, and seeing people as your friends and treating everyone equally, fairly, and with a little extra kindness goes a long way.
I agree with you, Jules, because I feel like you can't control someone's emotions, but you could control how you react to those emotions, right? And be that bigger person. And sometimes you can actually shift that person's entire moments, feeling, etc.
Their mindset, their day, and they walk out of there. I'll never forget, like, one of the things that, and this is just very, like, pretty much off the subject, but I'll never forget one day I was rushing to the train. I was running late. I couldn't miss my train. And I mistakenly, or purposely, I don't remember, because I was like losing my mind because I was late to a very important meeting. And I think I pushed someone into the train. She stumbled a little and she said something to me. It wasn't anything completely rude. It was sort of like, hey, just say excuse me kind of thing. And I was just so incredibly nasty to her. She wasn't deserving of that. Now I've started her day off horribly. My day is already messed up. And I remember sitting on the back of the train and my eyes welled up with tears because I thought to myself, I don't even know what's going on in her life, and I could have just ruined her day. She could have been having the best day now. It was my fault that her day is ruined. And because I decided to go all the way to the back of the train because I felt so embarrassed to look at her constantly, during this 45-minute train ride, I then almost knocked other people down just to reach her, to tap her on her shoulder and to apologize to her and tell her my bad mood or my reckless night and the fact that I woke up late is not your fault. And I'm so sorry that I made it your fault and that you paid for my bad mood, and you weren't deserving of that, and I want to apologize to you. And I'll never forget, this woman hugged me and she said, thank you so much. Not many people would be able to do that.
Right.
And so that changes you to say, an apology can go a long way. And I'm not like, to me, it's like, I'm not I'm not better than anyone. I see myself as an equal to everyone. And so, I'm not better than anyone, so why shouldn't I apologize when I know I've done something wrong? And so, and it goes back to, like, partnerships. When you're wrong, and you apologize.
And didn't that make you feel better? Like,
absolutely.
You and your day changed.
My day changed. Right. My meeting was moved an hour later. I was able to get my coffee, and I felt just so much better. And I'll never forget this woman's face when I was apologizing, and she just, like, she thought to herself, like, am I going to do this or should I just walk away? And she hugs me, complete stranger, you know, but at that moment, and I saw her, you know, many times after that, and we always smiled at one another. And so it was a good feeling. And so again, going back to having a kinder heart, a little bit softer, giving yourself and other people grace that's needed in partnership.
And acknowledging when you fail a little bit. Like, that's okay. I think that, you know, what you just said and how you went back, you made it a point to go back to her and to say, you know what, I'm sorry. You know, what I was going through should not have been put on your shoulders to deal with, you know? And I think in business, that's so important too.
It is really important.
It's easy to snap when you have a lot of pressure or there's, you know, something that happened right before.
Right.
And it's gonna happen. And we need to, you know, not be so sensitive, you know, and take it so much to heart and understand that, you know, there's something that happened before that person kind of snapped. And in business, it's important to communicate that.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of the time with me and Lisa, you know, I have days where I'm off. You know, it just happened the other day. I wasn't feeling good. And
Ooh,
was
she
talking
came
to me
at
about
me.
something. And I was like, yeah, I can't deal with this right now. And then afterwards, I was like, you know what? Because I'm feeling miserable and I'm not in the moment or the headspace to be able to really think about this right now. It was wrong of me to snap at her. And I sent her a message saying, you know, I'm so sorry, I'm not feeling good, I'm just not, you know, but just that little acknowledgement
Absolutely.
takes it and just makes it better.
And like, I know myself, so every time I'm not feeling, I'm like, Dawn,
yes.
today's not the day.
Yes. And I'm
I
like,
am
okay.
sorry right now.
Like the
right
disclaimer.
now. Yes.
Let me
I literally
apologize
go
in
in.
advance.
I go in saying
Yes.
sorry because I know I'm just gonna be. It's just my face is gonna say it all.
Yes.
So I'll go into something knowing from the beginning.
But I think that's why, you know, we work together so well because we don't let things fester.
Right.
And when you're in business with people, you can't let things fester. If you have an off moment or an off day, own it and just be like, I'm sorry, and that's it.
And I have to say, being younger, Julie and I were in this business so many years ago, and we were definitely in different mindset. So we did fester. We fester a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. You know what I'm saying? Our relationship now is completely different from then. Completely different. We're completely honest. We're transparent with each other, and therefore that's why we're going into business again. You know, so that's what makes it so much better. So always make sure that you communicate with your partners, because everything's just going to be better. And if you're allowed to have a bad day, have a bad day.
One thing I also, in maturity and growth, you learn that, you know, I was always the fixer. I always saw myself as a fixer. So I always wanted to fix problems or situations. But then I also wanted to fix people. You don't fix people. You don't change people. You can't change them. You can't fix them. You know, and I thought to myself, oh, you know, I'm not doing this and there's no ill intent. I see such greatness in her. I see so much more. Let me tell her what she should be doing. And this person, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm doing. It would bother me so much. And until I started to accept people for who they are, where they want to be, you know, what their limitations are, and how much information they wanted from me. You start listening more, and you say to yourself, okay, you know, I'm not here to change anyone. If they want me to help in any situation, I'm going to help. So I think that with Lisa and I, we, again, with maturity, we're no longer there where we're hoarding these ill feelings. Because I think that's another thing. We weren't telling each other like, hey, I'm drowning here. I'm struggling and you're doing absolutely nothing to help me. Or just tell me like how you feel. And so now I think, you know, and she knows I have like this really sharp tongue. And I can just say things, and then I have to go back to them like, that's not how, I didn't mean it like this. I find myself saying that a lot because my tongue is just very quick.
I can relate to.
I'm always
It's the Dominican. It's the Dominican, yeah.
yeah, we have an answer. We have an answer for it all. And so to me, sometimes I have to tell her like, you know, hey, by the way, I didn't mean it like this. This is what I want you to understand. This is where I'm coming from. But knowing that you can, you know, be a boss and be sorry, be a boss and be humble, be a boss and be stern. You know, there's so many ways. There, like I said, I started this podcast telling you guys, being a boss is wearing many hats. And,
Absolutely.
And allowing yourself to grow, You can, take one hat off today and not use it for a month, a year, 2 years, but you know that at one point or another, you may have to pick that hat up. And that hat might be us frying chicken, grilling chicken. We didn't fry anything, grilling chicken one day again.
But I want to also add something that we kind of dove into pre-recording. So one of the things I did notice, and I want to harp on a little bit today, is that you have a lot of faith-based principles in your entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of what you're talking about is because of those faith-based principles and that growth, right? So, you want to kind of share a little bit of that and kind of recap on that?
Well, going back to how She Wings started, She Wings came to me in a dream. And in my dream, God was walking me through a space. And I remember as he's walking and talking to me, and again, it's not a voice. It's not I didn't hear him. I wasn't like, I didn't see him. I felt him in my dream. So when people say, well, did he hold your hand? What did his voice sound like? It wasn't like that. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. So at that moment, his spirit was with me in my dream. And in my dream, I saw the space. I saw the windows, the way they were positioned, how the layout was going to be. So who I was going to partner with at that moment, and the name of the business as well. It was just so clear that when I woke up, I called her immediately, and she jumped on board. I was living in Dallas. How are we going to do this? I had my job. And so 2 days after I mentioned, I told her about this story, about this idea, she called me and she says, hey, so when are we doing this? Should I get a realtor? And I'm like, oh, wait, you took me seriously? And she said, yes. And I think she also took me seriously because she knew how close I was to God. And she knew that I wasn't joking. So this was March 1st, 2014. And we started our business August 2nd, 2014. So in a matter of a few months, again, diving headfirst into the beauty industry. She's a hairstylist, so she knew a lot more about the beauty industry than I did. She had been in business for many years, and a successful business at that. But she did hair, and now we were diving into lashes. And so I remember she would FaceTime me when she was in New York with the realtor, and I was in Dallas, and she would go from place to place, and I was like, that's not it, because in my mind, I saw where the windows were placed. The last place she looked, she said, Jules, there's this place available, the price is right, everything seems to be okay, the location is just that it's full of construction equipment, so you may not get the feel of it right away. Sure enough, she goes in FaceTimes me, and she was with my sister, and I'll never forget that feeling, that my heart skipped a beat because it took me back to that day that I had that dream, and it was just so...
Confirmation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
When something is God-inspired, and it's a beautiful thing when you see that God gives you that vision or that dream or the thought, and
it's a gift.
You see it come together, because then it's just confirmation and knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right, and that goes back to my faith. And I learned a really important word, being faithful to God. You cannot just be faithful and believe in him. You have to be obedient.
Yes.
In obedience comes so much more sacrifice. And if you're not willing to make certain sacrifices that he is asking you for, in my opinion, in my belief, I have failed.
Yeah. Well, the scripture says faith without works is dead. So exactly. I love that you had the vision, and then your partner actually executed on it, and you guys delivered it together.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. This is great. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and hear some more inspiring stories.
¡Wow! ¡Qué programación más rica! Por acá, por Latino Mixx.
Welcome back to Boss It Up Media, where we are here sharing with Jules Mella, our special guest today. We just want to continue this and continue the conversation where we left off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jules, you basically, when you started your second business, your first business obviously didn't go through because we were all in a recession back in 2008. So, give us an example in your second business how you shifted and you were defensive, instead of being defensive or losing the business, how you pivoted and became offensive.
So that's perfect example for me is that during the recession of 2008, I realized that if I was going to ever go back into becoming an entrepreneur or in business for myself, I needed a recession-proof business. That's not always as easy as you think. But one thing I did learn going into the beauty industry, no matter what you're going through, you still always want to look beautiful.
That is true.
Yes, facts.
Unfortunately, due to the nature of my work, we couldn't be that close in proximity to our clients. And so what I did was, since we were shut down and I didn't know when we were going to be able to open up again, what I did was I was able to get out of a lease that I was paying almost $15,000 a month rent. Actually, it was $13,000 something. But with everything else included, all of my expenses, we were well into over $15,000. Just the structure, this didn't include salaries or anything like that, bonuses. And so what I did was I was able to, because COVID hit, negotiate my way out of my lease, which I had another 4 years left on that. And although they offered many, different options, they said, we'll cut your rent in half. But at the end of the day, I didn't know how long this was going to last. And so what I did was able to negotiate out of my lease, find a smaller space, because now a lot of the girls, which I love, at the same time, I hated to see them go, but they became entrepreneurs too. And I want to believe that I also inspired that in them, because I've always wanted my girls to grow, my employees to venture off and do what I did and be fearless and, become an entrepreneur, become a CEO, not just of your life, but of your business. And so I lost a few employees. I don't say I didn't lose them. They grew. It's like your baby's leaving the nest. Mm-hmm. So they moved on. I found a smaller space, and I cut my rent, by $10,000. So right then and there, I was already saving $10,000. But I thought to myself, okay, so if I was able to negotiate this, now I'm back in another space. We're going to reopen. This is going to work. I'm saving tons of money. Let me look for a second location, because if this owner in Manhattan was offering low rent, Long Island was going to do the same for me. So that's when I ventured off, and I decided to start a second business, which is Mixx Med Spa. I started out being She Wing / studio, but I work alongside very closely to a friend of mine that's also a nurse, and her name is Lauren, and she runs Mixx. She does Botox and fillers, and we decided this year that we were going to combine the two and just build out a Medi Spa for Long Island, where we're going to be providing services on the, let's say, the aesthetic side. Well, all of it is aesthetics. She does Botox fillers. We do hydrofacials. We have the Morpheus 8. We do teeth whitening, a laser hair removal, as well as corporal massages.
Such a fun place. Who doesn't want to go there?
Yeah, exactly. Right? So you come in, you're beautiful as you are naturally, and you're going to leave there super glammed. So
And 5 years younger. And 5 years younger.
Yeah, thanks to Lauren's magic hands. Yes, definitely 5 years younger. And so I thought to myself, I work really well with her. I don't mind having a business partner, and the reason why is because the level of maturity, the respect we have for each other, our differences, and that I work really well with now, more so with having my crutches. As I'm their crutch, they're my crutch as well. I think it's really important.
I love it.
Yeah, she is definitely my crutch. I have called her many times, and she talks me off the ledge. And so I think it's really important that you have this level of respect, and then you can partner with someone and say, these are both of our strengths. She's a nurse. She does Botox and fillers. I'm not a nurse, but I'm able to, whiten your teeth. I'll give you the best facial. There's a lot of other things that I can also offer, not to mention that I love also educating other women on building their businesses. And so, we have She Wings in Manhattan on 44th and between 5th and 6th. We have Mixx Med Spa in Woodbury, so you can look us up there. We have the Luxury Affairs group. We do so much.
So much. So many
Luxury
businesses. We
Affairs
stay
group.
busy.
Yes.
Multi-stream queens.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. She comes up.
Yeah, always. Always.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm going to start
And-
writing them down.
Yeah.
Anytime, baby.
and that's exactly who we are and who we are destined to be. Not only multi-stream queens, but we want to be able to offer and empower so many other women that think that if they think they can't do it, reach out to us. We'll help you. You shouldn't. There's a lot of information out there. A lot of it is free. A lot of people are charging for it. You know, like they say, nothing is free in this world. But I want to also do my part and pay it forward, because there's been a lot of people that have been my crutch, you know, someone that has helped me figure something out, and I want to be that person for someone else as well.
Well, let me tell you, you, by coming on this show today, I'm 100% positive that you've inspired people, and you will
Absolutely.
continue to inspire
Absolutely.
people with your story and everything that you share. So we want to thank you for being on the show and being so transparent and sharing with us and sharing your heart and your beliefs.
Well, thank you for giving me this platform to do so, you know. This has been 2023 was a difficult year. It was one of, you know, removing a lot of layers. And I think that being more transparent will allow me more room to grow.
Absolutely.
Because I think
Yes.
a lot of, you know, I had this wall up for a very long time, having to be tough and, you know, figure things out for yourself. You don't have to.
No, you just have to have people in your corner that'll be tough for you.
Absolutely.
Just
The
saying.
muscles.
All right, so we want to make sure that you have everybody's contact information. So be sure to follow us at Boss It Up Media on IG, Boss It Up Media on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow Latino Mixx. You'll see all the podcasts there, including our own, so make sure to follow them as well. Jocrease, share your information, please.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Jacrease.
And then myself, Lisa, at Lisa G in the City.
And then you can follow me at Dawn the Closer. I also want to give a special shout out again to our sponsor, Kaplan, DiGiapani, and Faria. You can direct message me if you're in need of an attorney, if you're purchasing or selling real estate, if you're a loan officer and you need someone to handle your deals correctly. We are all for it and all about it. So make sure that you reach out and help us help them support us, if that makes sense. You know, when you show support and you work with one of our sponsors that we're going to be highlighting on these shows, you're not only helping them in their business, but you're also helping us as well. So we want to thank you and thank them. If somebody wanted to reach out to you directly, can they find you on Instagram?
Absolutely. But I want to piggyback off of what you said. I have bought and sold a home in 2 years' time, and I used these lawyers, and they were amazing.
Thank you.
I needed a lot of hand-holding, a lot of huge decisions to make, and it was a very difficult time. And not only were you there for me legally, but personally. And I thank you guys so much. This firm is amazing, so I can't thank them enough
Thank you
for
for
being
that.
so supportive. So you can find me. My personal IG handle is I am Jules, and that is spelled IAMJEWELZZ. And of course, She Winks. One word, She Winks. Well, it's 2 words, combined one. Injects Med Spa. It's INJX Med Spa. And the Luxury Affairs Group, simple. Yeah, we're here for anything you guys may need. Reach out to me, any questions you may have about starting a business, growing your business, collaborating together. I'm here for it all.
We love to hear from you guys. So we've said that on prior episodes as well. We've had a lot of people reach out to us. We have some more guests coming up. So if you're interested in being a guest and want to be highlighted on our show, and you're just starting up a business or you have a successful business, please reach out to us because we want to hear from you. And if you're interested in being a sponsor and kind of partnering up with us to doing all of the fun stuff that we have in store, please reach out to us as well, because our sponsorships are still open, especially for the new year. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your hearts and just being as amazing as you are. And we will see you on our next episode.
And Latino Mixx Online, thank you so much for all you do. I mean,
Absolutely.
we wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you.
Bye. See you
Thank you,
next
guys.
time.
Bye.